Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to just, before I ask my question, follow up on what Representative Conklin was asking as it relates to the number of corporations. Sometimes we hear that there are, several 100,000 corporations in Pennsylvania. Is there a way to determine the activity that those are actually active? I know there are several, many, I guess, that are dormant, for a lack of a better word, in Pennsylvania. And sometimes those get thrown into the numbers and we hear a significant percentage that aren't paying. Somebody said 60%. Now, were you including all active corporations when you said that?
That would be anybody that files a return. And I have to confirm that number. I need to check on it. Regarding the number of dormant corporations, I am unsure whether we can make that determination. I think we would need to see the federal tax return that lies behind the Pennsylvania tax return from which the apportioned income is drawn from.
So the information that you would be providing to the committee then will be only addressing those that are active?
Anybody that would file an income tax return.
Okay. Can we get into the weeds a little bit? I would like to follow up on Representative Grove's questioning along the lines of the sales tax. That is certainly a concern. In your comments, you had mentioned that the phase out of some of the other taxes, the capital stock and franchise tax, but you also mentioned the $50 million potential loss in personal income taxes because of the pull forward of dividends because of the tax increase out of Washington, D.C. this year. So that certainly, though, puts a lot of money into the economy in Pennsylvania at the end of last year. But it sounds to me like the other negatives, as far as the uncertainties, you're saying that money is going to stay in people's pockets as opposed to spending it in the economy. Am I hearing you correctly?
No, we do think most of that, what we would call the pull forward of $50 million, a large percentage of it, no, excuse me.
That's actually just the tax on
that's the tax, correct.
So there was almost $2 billion. You
had to gross that up by the tax rate to get the income. Right. In our assumptions, because those are going to upper income individuals, we have assumed that most of it would not be spent, that it would be remained or it would be saved at the margin because they're upper income individuals. However, for the payroll tax cut, because it's going to wage earners, we would assume that most of that would have been spent. So it all depends on their income level.
In the internet sales, could you kind of provide some forecasting along those lines as far as it relates to capturing internet sales tax?
Right now, we had included, for the policy on the remote sellers in our sales and use tax projections, we had included an estimate of $40 million to pick up some of the internet sales. We're working with the Department of Revenue to determine whether that number is still accurate moving forward. I think they're just getting the returns in right now so that they can estimate whether that figure is accurate. Moving forward, much like we have observed in the recent past, we do expect that internet sales will continue to grow faster than brick and mortar sales, and that if those sales are not taxed, it would lead to further erosion of the sales and use tax base.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.